A lot of people want to know how to work with their dark tea brick. And so I thought I'd maybe give a little demo here to help people understand. This brick is comprised of compressed tea leaves, and the particles in the tea leaves are intentionally large and sometimes crude pieces, including stem. And that's important because in between the airspace where the stems, the thick, heavy stems are, is where a lot of the magic happens with the tea, where we have the Jinghua, the golden flower that grows on the tea and creates this wonderful enzyme that benefits the tea. And so that's why the crude material. But in working with the brick, a lot of people are, something like this, a compressed piece, they're not really sure, what do I do with this thing? So a little demo is helpful. I have a little tool here. This is called Chado, the Chinese name, but it's sort of like a miniature letter opener. Maybe a little bit duller, but you can actually use a letter opener, or you can use a butter knife, something like that. And because it's compressed leaves, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be relieving the leaves, the layers, and just kind of releasing some as we dig into the tea brick. And I'm going to do this actually in this little plastic bag, and the reason is because when I am going to separate the tea leaves, I'm going to create a little bit of dust, tea dust, and small particles, and those are valuable. You don't want to waste those and have them get away, so ergo the bag here. So I'm just going to take this little tool. One thing it's smart to do because it is a sharp tool, so you have to be careful. You always try to point away from yourself. So if you just hold the brick kind of from the back like that, and you just kind of go in maybe a 1/16 of an inch or so, and wiggle in a little bit, and you just loosen some of the material. Now, every time you do this, you can loosen more than you need for that serving. It's fine, and you can just keep the tea in a tin, a little container, or in a bag like this one. So that's all there is to it. I'm just going to go in like that, and I'm placing the brick down on a firm surface so I can push down like this, and just release like that. All right, so next step, I have plenty of the material that I've released, and again, these tea crumbs, we want to save everything. So just kind of scoop all this up, and we're going to save all that because it's good stuff. I'm going to take an infuser. This is a handy little gadget for preparing tea, and I like this a lot because you can base the doneness on the color of the tea water rather than on time. So this is really helpful, and people find it a great aid to understanding the tea when the tea is prepared and when it's ready. So I'm going to take some of this tea, a few flakes, and my goal is that I'm going for about 2 to 3 grams of this tea. How much is 2 to 3 grams? Who knows what a gram is, right? Well, a lot of people need the comfort or want the comfort of how many teaspoons do I put in, and because of the size and shape of these tea leaves, I really can't, you can't judge how to put these on a teaspoon. So you sort of get a feel for it, sort of like cooking. Just a pinch or two of the tea. Start out with probably a little less than you think. So I have my tea in here. I'm going to add some hot water. I'm using water that's just under a boil. The reason is I like to keep the oxygen in the water. And I'm going to let this steep. And while it's steeping, I just want to have you take a closer look at this piece. And if you take a close look here, you may be able to see that right in this area, you may be able to pick up some small specks. And those specks in different places where I've released the leaves, you can see some small specks on here. And those little yellow whitish specks are what the Chinese people call Jinghua. And Jinghua means golden flower. And the magic of the golden flower is that this human-friendly fungi, it actually releases an enzyme which the Chinese say are good for helping with cholesterol reduction in addition to the fact that it's combined with this fantastic dark tea, which also Chinese say is good for digestion, cardiovascular, and cholesterol. I have been so fortunate to get involved with this tea because I have customer after customer that's coming in and raving about the results that they've gotten. So, you know, I feel like very fortunate to be able to share it with them. So now I have my little teacup, and I am taking a look at the color here on this tea. This is getting to be a really nice color the way I like it. And I'm just going to now press this little button on the top, and as I do, the tea water is going to drain down. I'm lifting a little bit like this just to agitate the volatiles in the tea a little bit more. Wonderful, and straight into the cup, and there we are. And the tea leaves now, they're sitting here, they're suspended, so they're not stewing in the water anymore, but they are continuing to soften. And if you take a look there, you can see that because there's no water, they're not going to be depleting anymore, but they are going to continue to soften. And as they continue to soften, they prepare for the next infusion. So you're going to steep these tea leaves multiple times over and over again. In the cup, we get a delicious dark tea. It's got just a very, very pleasant flavor to it. A lot of people take a look at this thing, a brick, and these big, heavy, coarse pieces of tea leaf, and they think, what is this going to be like? You know, and it's going to be like, you know, drinking something that I don't care for, and not the case at all. This is a beautiful, delicious tea. Hopefully, it's something that will, if you combine it with some good, healthy habits, you know, diet, some exercise, you know, you may find that this will have lend you a helping hand in terms of controlling your cholesterol. I know for many of the customers that have been coming in, they are raving about it, and let's hope that we can continue to bring this amazing tea to them. Enjoy your dark tea.